Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Hip Kit Club. I'm using the really beautiful October kits which have a real autumn theme to them, and I'm playing along with the challenge this week, which is a mood board challenge. So I really loved the mood board for November, which is very autumn themed, so I am going for all the different colours in the mood board. So I really loved the colours, the dark blues and the oranges, the bright oranges, white, so lots of fun, interesting things in the mood board. So I decided to go for those. There's obviously pumpkins on the mood board as well, so I've gone for those, acorns as well. So to begin with, I'm really focusing on the colours, and I've pulled out all the different papers that you can see there in different strips in front of me, and I have chopped them into narrow-ish strips. I'm going to measure them. I'm not quite sure how wide they are. They are 1.5 inches wide, and I have got 5 of them. So I've gone for a really dark background. That is one of the papers from the Cardstock Kit. And then the other piece I've cut a strip, a 1.5 inch strip from. I've gone for the lightish blue with the dots, the darker blue with the dots, the orange, and the white as well. So I have got some good colours going on here. Looking at it now, I wish I'd done the dark blue next to the dark blue and the lighter blue next to the orange, so I think I had intended to do that and I've just stuck them the wrong way around, but I didn't notice until just now, so it obviously doesn't look that bad. So my aim is to try to create like a middle centerpiece, as you can see there, like a middle square, if you like, made up of these strips. I've just cut them all, distressed the edges, and I'm now sticking them in place. When I stick something like this, I tend to put a small amount of adhesive on the back, and then lightly stick them in place so that then they're easy to lift off and move around before I really press them in and make it permanent adhesive. So that's what I've done there. So I had to move them around a few times before I was happy with the placement, and then I distressed the edges, and then I've just kind of roughed them up a bit more with my fingernail once they were on the page, so that the edges kind of stand out or creased a bit, you know. Okay, so I have got some tags here from that piece of paper, the Simple Stories paper with the tags all over it. I absolutely loved that paper. The reason I loved it so much is because it has tags on the front and the back, so you just cut them out and then you have a double-sided tag. How awesome is that? I really enjoyed that, and I've made a mini book already with those, from one sheet of those, and then this is the other sheet. Or actually these might be the leftovers from the mini book. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so you can see they have two photos there, a big one and a small one. The big one is a portrait one, the small one is a square. It was a landscape photo, but I chopped it down so that it was the same width as the other one, and I've mounted it on white card so that it looks the same. It looks like it has a white border. I'm going to use one of those giant frames from the Simple Stories pack of chipboard frames. Now, anyone who received those, my first thought, probably like everyone else, is like, whoa, they are huge. They really, really are massive. They are way bigger than I expected them to be. I thought they were going to be, you know, half the size of what they were. So it was quite interesting to receive them and for them to be so large. But anyway, that gives I like things like that, because surprises like that, because it makes you think outside the box, doesn't it, and use something a bit differently to where you would normally do if you had received a small pack. So yeah, I'm going to use that as my layer today. I love the grey crosshatch. I think that's a really pretty colour, and I'm going to put my photos along the bottom with the tags and some flowers. Now I really want to use pumpkins and acorns because they appear so prominently on the mood board, but the stickers from the Simple Stories sticker book are kind of thin stickers. They're almost made for planners more than anything else. So therefore I have, to make them a bit more substantial, I've stuck them onto a piece of white card and then fussy cut them all out, so that I can then use them almost like ephemera rather than stickers. That's a little tip there if you're not entirely happy with how thin the stickers are, because they're not really designed to be, they're designed to be stuck on a flat surface and not designed to be stuck over multiple layers, which is what scrapbooking tends to be, or certainly mine. So that's why I tend to stick them onto a piece of white card and then fussy cut them out. If you can be bothered, to be honest, because it's a bit of a faff that way, isn't it? But yeah, that certainly works for me. And then I can use them and raise them all up on foam pads, and they look really cool. So yeah, I was happy to do that. So now I'm coming up with my title. I'm using the black thickers from the kits, and I'm going for picking a winner for my title, because we were searching for the winning pumpkin. It had to be perfect, it had to be huge, it had to be have no dirt. And I was like, we can wash it, it's not a problem. But they were very, very keen on finding the perfect pumpkin. So this is going to be called Picking a Winner, and I have put the black thickers onto a piece of white card. Now, a similar reason to why I did the same with the stickers, but the stickers were more to give them more, to make them more solid, whereas this is so that it stands out. So these are black letters against a dark background, and they're quite narrow. So I wanted to make them stand out, and the only way to do that was to stick them on white cardstock. I then stuck them in place and then fussy cut them out with just with scissors, cut around them. And that way it showed up way better, and now I can actually see my title against the background, the dark background, whereas I wouldn't have been able to see it so well if I just stuck it directly on. Definitely a technique that's worth doing for if you have a busy background as well as just a dark background. If you have a dark background and white letters, you're fine. But because I had a dark background and black letters, they just wouldn't have shown. They weren't bold enough. They're a pretty cursive font rather than a block font, so it would have been tricky to get them to stand out. So okay, I'm just fiddling around where my title's going to be. I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking about up there. I did think about turning it around to have it on the side. I've just been getting my pumpkins in place and my acorns, and I've decided to go for a straight line across the bottom, just like that. So that works really well. I'm really happy with how that looks, so I'm good for that. I'm going to go with that, definitely. So now I'm just committing and sticking everything in place. So like I said, all of those acorns and pumpkins that I stuck onto white cardstock and trimmed out, they can now be raised up on foam pads. So that gives me, let's say, it feels like I now have ephemera instead of stickers. So I'm really happy with that, because that's my favourite thing. Okay, so raising my title on foam pads as well, that means that I have some dimension behind it and some shadows, which gives it that extra depth and makes it stand out better as well. And then now just getting those acorns and pumpkins stuck in place. So I really love using mood boards. If mood boards are something that throw you a bit, they do lots of people, to be honest, so don't worry, you're not alone. But if they do throw you, then what I tend to do is I tend to make a list. I tend to write down all the things I can see, and I don't just pick out the obvious things, like there's pumpkins on the mood board, so I have to include pumpkins. So I do that, but it's not the only thing. If there's a pattern on a scarf in the background, do you know what I mean? I will write that down as well. Or if there are cakes but they're circular shaped, then I can write down circles, as well as cakes and whatever colour the cakes are. So I really just try to make sure that I look at all of the possibilities that are there in the mood board, and there are always loads. So I do love a mood board. It's one of my favourite things to work with usually. Okay, so I'm just adding some gold twiddles of thread. I've gone for one behind the little pumpkin journaling card. I think that's a journaling card, unless it's a tag, I'm not quite sure. And on the other side as well, the other side of the photo, on the right, and just put some twiddles there as well. Now coming in with these really lovely Simple Stories Cozy Days adhesive brads. So these are adhesive. They've not got the prongs that you poke through. So yeah, they're really easy to apply. I must admit I prefer one with the prongs on, because then they don't move. But the adhesive ones are super duper easy to apply, so definitely happy with those two. So I've just stuck some of those down. I've used a heart, a grey one, like a plaid one, one with a flower on, and then some smaller coloured ones as well. At the top, I'm just adding some little label pieces of ephemera, Yay Fall, Together, and Hey Pumpkin. They all work really well with the theme I've got going on today. I'm just distressing the edges of those, and then I'm going to get those stuck in place as well. I've also added Warm Heart down the bottom. It's a pink one, again, I think from the ephemera, and it has it says Warm Heart, and it has a little heart on it as well, so that's nice. That's just down the bottom, and then yeah, I've raised up those 3 pieces at the top on foam pads as well to give them extra dimension as well. And then I'm going to write my journaling in that little gap. Can you see there it is there, that little gap in the white that's still within the frame? So that's a perfect place for journaling. So I'm just going to write that in there with a fine tipped grey pen, not black, grey this time. Yeah, that's pretty much me done. I'm just going to add some white paint splatters because the background is so dark. I wanted to give some splatters onto that background, and white was the best colour really, so that's what I went for. So I'm just using white acrylic paint to get some white splatters on there, covering up my photos so that I don't get like paint on someone's face. Okay, and that is me done. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this layout. I really enjoyed making it. I really love the mood board, so make sure you play along with the challenge over on the Hip Kit Club group on Facebook. Don't forget that if you are a Hip Kit Club subscriber, you get the main kit at a reduced price, 15% discount off all add-on kits, and you get access to exclusive subscriber cut files. So lots of reasons to subscribe there. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. That was Nikki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.